cyborg hacker Catwoman in a heist adventure, or rather a breaking and entering adventure. She's trying to break into the Batcave, which is located on a hollowed out Pluto, which has become a prison planet. Are you ready to 90s really hard? Are you ready, kids? I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and sometimes cracking open a comic or however you're reading it, it's like just entering a time capsule. Just everything about it is so of its era, it transports you right back, if you've been there before, of course. Or it might just be like stepping into a window to a vista, a world you've never seen. This comic we're about to look at very much enters a realm that is skirting around cyberpunk, techno future, just everything. We're going to be looking at Catwoman 1 Million and the story 9 Million Lives from the year 1998 and the DC 1 Million event, which is one of those events that just stopped everything. Pencils down, but then pick them right back up because everybody's going to have to be involved in this story about the heroes having to go to the 853rd century. But when it comes to Catwoman, her issue deals with the Catwoman of that future time, not past Catwoman. And this future Catwoman first debuts in the Batman 1 Million issue. All of them are specially numbered 1 million, like they're from the future. Now, present or past Batman did not want to take part in these shenanigans, but his future counterpart projected his consciousness forward into a clone body he had prepared for him, so he could watch over the Batcave that also had an assistant Robin who is a robot called Robin the Toy Wonder, because the Batcave is now basically a control center to watch over all of the dangerous criminals that are on this hollowed out Pluto. Batman's a warden. In that issue, things go awry and there's a prison break. And so Batman can't access the cave. But then Catwoman shows up, inmate 23023. And you get to see the first glimpse of her look, which definitely takes on some added layers when it's drawn by Jim Ballant over in her book. So it's caked out to the max and looks very 90s cyborg-esque. It must also be known that that is not the first time the 90s Catwoman would play with kind of cyborg cat or cyber cat or just cyborg Catwoman components. It was a popular thing at the time. As for this cover, it's her against a digital background that's very early computer graphics. Not design is my passion kind of level, but more reboot. They say the user lives outside the net and inputs games for pleasure. And I suppose some of them still do. The costume is a modification on her purple bodysuit. Now she has a black one and the purple parts kind of become a bodysuit that she's wearing over a bodysuit bodice. She also has these attached leggings to a robotic leg joint. Lots of gear and these wires that look like dreads that are attached to the cap part of her helmet. They're actually jacks so that she can jack into ports. And of course, she is shooting her gun sideways. This is later going to be described as a battle suit. If you zoom in on her leg, you can see the hidden cat that Jim Ballant puts on or put on most of his Catwoman covers. It's said that there's a cat on every cover, be it obvious or not. Some of them are said to be more hidden than others, and he's even said that some of them are so hidden that he can no longer find them, which of course then gives you some wiggle room for, are there cats? Some are pretty tricky, some are pretty cheeky. He's shown some of them on Instagram with circles around them. I'll share some of my faves in the short, because today we're not here for that. We're here to tech that tech. Now the recap page is meant to come across like it's a computer readout, and if you're not following this event at all, oh boy would you need this. For our purposes, what we need to know is that Batman is locked out and Catwoman of the future will help him out, but of course for a price. Now we don't know too much about this Catwoman. All the things we're going to learn are from context cues or the things that people say about her, the text she has or things she says herself. We don't even get to learn her name, but essentially she's just Catwoman who's very much like the Catwoman you normally read about, but in the future and teched out. We learn that she's a hacker, penetrator. They'll use the word penetrator a lot. That just makes it sound so much dirtier. 9 million lives. So, you need the best systems penetrator in the galaxy to get you into the Batcave? That will cost you, Junior. She's talking to the robot. She's not calling Batman Junior. Now, this story is interestingly credited. Jim Ballant for stories and pencils, Devin Grayson for dialogue, John Stanisky for inks, and Roberta Chubitz on colors. Catwoman is as mercenary as ever and offers to help, but only if she can get a shuttle ride off the planet, or just a shuttle to do it. No one needs to give her a ride. She can pilot it. In the future, everyone's a pilot. I almost said pirate. Bruce and his clone body agrees to this. He didn't even want to come to the future. Not his cave, not his problem. 23023 is a highly dangerous systems penetrator. Parapartner information is our prime commodity. Now we can't just... Don't make me penetrate your circuits, toy boy. The delay might annoy our guest. Yeah, it's definitely purposeful to have that innuendo there. For once, I wish they just said hack. Being a hacker was presented as super futuristic and edgy in the 90s. It was often linked to the cyberpunk genre. You'd have lots of sequences play with techno or house music. It was tied to the idea that we'd all mod ourselves and be able to jack into stuff. We're pre the wireless times, so there's still that physical component to the things. It's just cool to see this version of a cybertech future. Since these days, with the shift in technology and the way that people think about it and approach it, when you see those kind of far-flung futures, some of the things are different. The Apple Enterprise versus the button and dial Enterprise. I'm gonna keep saying cyberpunk adjacent because one of the hallmarks of classic cyberpunk is the corptocracy element, and that is lacking here. Now Batman really needs to get in, so he authorizes Robin to tell her what she needs to know. Give her the mission rundown, which starts with get past the hundreds of defenses that lead up to the Batcave.
Wait, it doesn't end there. access the Batcave in one piece, and you still have to negotiate the interior defenses. You won't be able to let us in until you've accessed and shut down the defense computer in the data room, and the data room is at the cave's core.
Good. Sounds gratifying. I've always wanted to try an old-fashioned forced entry. So from here on, they're going to start to try and parallel the idea that a digital or virtual breaking and entering is the exact same as a physical one. She's going to be able to transfer those skills to her physical break-in. This is also a way to reinforce the whole the more things change, the more they stay the same vibe that we've got going on here with Catwoman. It also means that we're going to get a whole bunch of hip lingo that I'm sure you already noticed about the World Wide Web. And I, for one, am thrilled. Casting forward to try and form the vernacular of a time into a slang of the future, it can be done, but it's quite difficult, and depending upon how much things change, sometimes it just comes across as very of its time and dated. This lands more in the snapper car, greetings hip kids kind of thing, but because of that, it also has that blast from the past energy. It's also not as aggressive as Snapper, but few things could be. As quiet as a headnet chat room lobby. Also, these kind of things, it really matters when you're coming to them. As someone who grew up in the 90s, I'm very familiar with a lot of this lingo, and also with shows and media and the like trying to make things sound like they're inside a computer. Hearing the word chat room just takes me back to visualizing them. Toy Boy was worried over nothing. There's practically no difference between a systems penetration and a physical access, except that you don't usually hear virtual threats coming. You should mod that in so you can hear if somebody's trying to get in the back door or something. That seems like a quality of life improvement. Despite being a virtual thief, Catwoman is still incredibly acrobatic, and she's able to do combat with Batman's defense systems. We'll just say it's because she's got cybernetic enhancements. That must be what they're there for. Catwoman also has many movie-type lines. I'll let you know when we get to my favorite one. It's coming up later. She's got those action movie one-liners. Password accepted. Next screen. Now, Catwoman runs into some other inmates trying to escape, but doesn't want to deal with them. So instead, she decides to take another route, but then she's cut off by one of the defense robots that looks like it's kind of a tank, but it's got a scorpion tail going on. The designs here are basically just like, I'm gonna have fun drawing battle robots. This is the moment where she needs to combine her skills. All right, if this were a hack, I'd close down this window, dig down to the program execution files to avoid... That's it. Dig down. Get under the floor before I'm under the tank treads. And as usual, with not a second to spare. They are really forcing the connection in moments like this. Ah, only a hacker would think they need to get down out of the way of the treads. No one else would think this. They would just let the tank crush them. Great. What sort of 404 wasteland have I fallen into now? Hey, that's one of the ones that still really lands. People still get a 404 error page. Also, this cave has strong predator/alien energy. There's very, very light Giger vibes to some of what's going on in there. Nothing anywhere near as sexual as some of that work gets, though. Down in these depths, Catwoman meets another inmate, and one who doesn't look as hardened as the rest. I hope you're not trying to interface, sister. I don't download anything or anyone when I don't know where they've been. That's made me wonder if you can download other people's consciousnesses into your own in this universe. Tangents that I'm sure it wasn't trying to make me think about. I do like that they bolded the words too, so you can't escape the computer lingo. It really is giving a lot of reboot also in the dialogue. Alphanumeric. Only because they're not inside a computer system, it comes across more like when people say hashtag out loud. But again, people do that. There's a really cool panel where you see the mod that this prisoner has on her back. It's like a blade coming out of this mass. It's giving Battle Angel Alita in some ways. That part of this issue is very cool, just the casual transhumanism on display. Because they don't mention it, you just have all these people with all of these enhancements. For some reason, even though she has a blade, this is the ventriloquist. And she almost gets Catwoman caught, because she was taken in by her little cutesy appearance. It's the pigtails, takes people in every time. But a defense bot takes her out, which means Catwoman still has problems. But she also has tech. And cake. Lots of cake. Prisoner neutralization in progress. Neutralize this. Yay, my favorite line. It's just so cheesy action movie. It layers on my mind with the dodge this from The Matrix. We get some battle panels. Neither Catwoman is super hardcore or Robin really oversold these defenses because she takes the first one down fairly easily, but then she gets all wire tentacled in the second one. We know where this could be going. We also learn that she has a laser whip and that she also has a sonic trachea blast. Whoa, we're getting close to future Black Canary territory there. But now her battle suit is damaged because of all the tentacle squeezing. So it's time to use her base skill set. Penetrating. Actually, she says that she'll hijack one of the flying defenses, the bat probes. Activate control disk. Interface overbalance EXE. Batch. We're just saying words in order now. Reverse the shield polarity. Open up an executive file. Command prompt hack. She overrides the system, or SIS as they keep calling it. And so she's able to take these bat probes and turn the weapons on the others, which is always a cool moment. And that brings her to the Batcave entrance, where she's gonna have to do some hardcore hacking. Here we get to see her use her hair jacks. She puts them into the ports so that she can open the Batcave entrance. And we also see that her eyes are enhanced, and that's depicted like a circuit board, which is pretty cool. Again, just to see the different visualizations, because nowadays when we do the enhanced eyes, you see it more like it looks like when you look at a phone or computer screen with all of the tabs and the like popping up. So again, just those different representations based on how people understood technology at the time makes reading this fun. Now she's trying to open the vents, a classic. This would make a great video game. And after getting a shock, she still manages to get in. We do get a cut to Batman and the Toy Wonder to remind you that they're there, and Batman believes that she'll make it if she's anything like the Catwoman from his time. The defenses inside the Batcave are described as very intense, but what they're represented as visually is just one of those laser kind of grids, which Catwoman of course evades. And I do love the detail that she has a bunch of robotic mice that she uses as decoys for the weapons to hit. And so she makes it to the main part, the Bat computer. Don't even try to resist me now. Those wrist additions are so close to the way the hands split open in Ghost in the Shell. I like these though, because they look almost like little spider legs. Although again, we're veering away from the cat theme. She needs little paws. True to her word, Catwoman lets them in, because just like past Catwoman, this one is morally gray. We're not sure exactly where she stands, like a cat. She also has the hots for Batman or something, because she ends up kissing him, just because we're playing again with the things are so the same. He looks so surprised, like this isn't part of the female villain starter pack. Crushing on him or assaulting him or both. I am only human. Boom sits in the isotube behind you. Good luck. She gets her shuttle, easily dispatches a grotesque, very insect-like version of Killer Croc with one more enter password quip, access denied. Almost to neutralize this, but not quite there. And with that, she's free. Now, I know she's also in the Azrael issue briefly, but I wanted to just talk about this one. Just get into a world, take a journey where you just picked up this issue on its own. This Catwoman issue is a trip. It's so deeply mired in the cyber tropes of the era that it becomes an ode to a lot of those staples, since it's doing pretty much everything one would expect from a story like this, except for nanites. Could use more nanites. As far as single issues that disrupt the flow of everything go, this just goes for what it decides to be super hard, with the aesthetics and playing adjacent to cyberpunk as a genre. It just embraces all the things that are perceived as cool about it and runs with them. We've got all the cybernetic enhancements, the battle robots, a world where all the tech and the people are integrated together, heist element, alternative fashion. All of the tech speak and putting in computer language was very in vogue at the time, though depending upon how familiar one is with it and their tolerance for such usage of stereotypical slang, it may grate more for some than for others. Now, there's not too much that's different about this Catwoman versus main Catwoman, aside from the setting and the way that she's decked out. Even though it's part of an event, this one reads almost like one of those zany Elseworlds that they used to do, where they would take a concept, just run with it. The Jungle Book, but it's Superman. Frankenstein, but it's Batman. This is Cyber Heist, but it's Catwoman. So if you're into that, this has a really fun energy. Now, of course, like with all things, it will not be for everyone. For some, this over-the-top bombast that this issue is channeling, such a specific style and so very much of its era, it may be too much. Or they may just not enjoy the genre or that type of energy, regardless of era. This is 90s maxing. Did you see her leg holster? It's all doing the most. To me, it's fun, but I can see it being way beyond the pale for others. It's also not the most depth-filled issue, so if one is going in because they want to think about any kind of complex themes, the relationship between Batman and Catwoman, that is not here. This is just what you see is what you get. She is to break into the Batcave. If you were curious about any of the workings of the overall world, you're just gonna get some crumbs, some sprinkles inferred through the environment. You have to kind of fill it in. For some, the art, the proportions, and ample cake may overwhelm. Some may find unrealistic or just not appealing, or some find this level of cake to be problematic. This era of Catwoman was a very cheesecakey type of era, but it also was one that was married with a lot of very interesting storytelling decisions. To me, sometimes discussions of the cake can override that, but at the same time, it is a lot of a lot, and I can see for some that taking them out of the story or taking away from their enjoyment because they may feel that it comes to the point where it's overemphasized and takes away from the story. In this issue, for me, it comes across as highly stylized and marries with the over-the-top cybertech atmosphere of the story, accenting it in a way. Like the art neon flux, it just adds to the extraness and slots you more into the environment. There's also the whole discussion to be had about whether or not the art needs to have realistic proportions or not, but that is a discussion for another day. This Catwoman has a cool vibe. It dives so far in and embraces it so hard that it's kind of endearing. The whole hacker with enhanced battlesuit just in case is a fun concept. I would read more stories about this Catwoman, caked out or not. I think it's fun. And if there are any and I missed them, please tell me, because I really would like to read them. Also, I showed you a picture of Cybercat. Do you want to talk about Cybercat? She's just chrome. This whole issue seems like something that you would see late at night, wildly animated on MTV or Adult Swim. It's such an over-the-top ride, and to me, a fun one. Just like this, in its own bubble, kind of divorced from the overall event. Now, all of these are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. I can definitely see this one not being certain people's taste. What do you think of Catwoman 9 Million Lives? Too much? Not your tempo? fun diversion? Would you too like to see more of this version of the character? Just your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Please leave them down below. While you're down there, please all YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to discuss comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. I've got my Catwoman shirt today with gratuitous open elbows. The elbows must breathe.